In this video, we're going to look at part 2 of activity 3.1.6, open and closed loop systems using the VEX v5 testbed and VEX Code v5 software. With this, we've already done the steps where we've already went ahead and removed the gear from the assembly. We added the limit switch to our testbed, and then we installed the gear back. And then we're going to make sure that as we turn this, I'm going to want it to turn so clockwise, so that way as it turns, I should hear it should click the limit switch. So I don't want it to go around counterclockwise, because otherwise it could catch, and actually the way this is set up, it could actually click it. So it doesn't really matter, but one thing I may do is I'm going to set this indicator bar over here kind of off to the side. And just to make sure that I know, I'm going to kind of go through and begin with the standoff resting against the limit switch and observe the behavior and run the program. Now, one of the things we may want to do is I went ahead and wrote a little sub program here to just run for maybe even 0.5 is going to be too much. Maybe we just go for maybe about 0.1 seconds. I want to see what direction going forward, whether it goes clockwise or counterclockwise, before I start to run the program. So let me download my event handlers attached to this small program. Let me hit run. Okay, so I saw it move clockwise by going 0.1 seconds, which would be the direction I want it to go to move forward. So I know that I'm setting up very well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this little program, reattach my event handler to the main program that I want to oscillate. I am gonna adjust this velocity down to probably about 25%, and even then we might go a little slower. We'll see how this works. But the other thing is I'm going to get rid of this first little wait statement of wait 0.5 seconds, and I'm going to go ahead and put in under control, I want to say wait until, and I'm going to put this under that case, and then I'm going to say until limit switch is pressed, then I want it to spin the motor in reverse. So I'm going to get rid of that or that first 0.5 seconds, so then that way that it's set up. Other than that, that's the only change that I need to make. I just changed the speed down a little bit. I'm going to go over here and verify. I'm going to make sure that it's going to run into them, so that way it rests against it. I'm actually going to kind of back it off just a little bit. You can kind of see where the indicator's there a little bit. So, and I'm going to go ahead and download, and we're going to observe and see what kind of behavior do we get. So I'm going to go ahead and hit run. Okay, we can see where the indicator bar stopped at. So down here at about 4 or 5 o'clock, if you're looking at it from like the face of a clock there. Let's rerun the program and see where it starts and stops at. Okay, and you can see that that bar finishes in the same spot where it started. So when we started the program, and it finishes in the same spot where it ended from the first time we ran through as well. So this is a great example of adding feedback to make this a closed loop system, so that way that the indicator bar is going to finish off in the same position of where it started, and we know where it's going to go. So, and if we had to cycle this 120 times, we would probably see it's probably going to end up in the same spot as where it is now. So it's going to finish out and be in the final spot there. Alright, this finishes out activity 3.1.6, open and closed loop systems. And hopefully you learned a lot about overall in lesson 3.1 dealing with VEX, V5, and VEX code. And this will allow you to now start to look at doing some of your project work for project 317 machine control design, and really look forward to seeing what kind of interesting creative devices and machines you come up with as you use some of your programming for a lot more application methods.